I'm surprised you have a yellow room rather than a pink one.
My floor is pink carpet, so it kind of makes up for it.
You got pink shag carpeting.
That's how the house came, so I just never changed it. I'm not complaining though.
All right, right. How y'all doing? Welcome to Maximize Monday.
Hey guys,
Um,
it's the first Maximize of the year.
I know, right?
Can you believe it? 2022.
Yeah, crazy, isn't it? Last year went by fast.
Really did.
So we hope you all are well. Come on in and share and join, please. And share, share, share. Um, come on in.
There we go.
And
Let us know where you're tuning in from. It's always cool to see where people are at.
yes, yes. Especially if your first time.
Hmm.
Um,
If it's your first time, leave VIP in the comments.
yeah. Y'all
Show
be
you some
safe out
love.
there. Yep.
Hmm.
We enjoyed the snow outside. I am. It was 60 degrees yesterday. Now it's
Yeah, I
snowing.
know. Crazy. I'm enjoying looking at the snow outside. Going out and it's a whole different story.
Yeah, I was at the store earlier. We were about to take the kids somewhere and we came right back. It's
Yeah.
like, because it was
It's
fine this morning.
Hey, my Lita.
Hey, my leader, what's up?
I didn't think it was going to happen.
Yeah, especially this early.
Yeah. So this is the first time watching for Bishop Washington.
Hey, sir, how you doing?
Glad to see
Um,
you.
hey, Elaine. Hey, Vanessa, what's going on? Y'all come on in and share so we can get started. I'm still homeschooling my kids, so I need to get down to them soon, and they can help me shovel too.
Put them to work.
Since since they just want to play in the snow. They ain't gonna help me.
That was my first time job, the snow shoveler. I
Me
made
too.
some good money.
These kids are lazy. We used to go out and be out all day
Hmm.
long in the snow.
Hmm.
Hey, Lane Castillo, how you doing? From Minnesota, all day long. It made some crazy Monday.
Yep. It
Sure
was
thing, man.
uh,
Um,
a friend uh, a friend who used to live around the corner. She and I would just go out and split the money.
mhm. Me too. I had a friend of mine. It was like my brothers and a few of us. We would go out and we would split the money, and we would be out all day just shoveling.
Hmm.
These kids are lazy now. They just want to stay inside all day. But welcome, y'all. Welcome, welcome to the year of we're believing God for restoration, redemption. I keep like
Redemption,
redemption,
restoration,
restoration,
recovery,
recovery,
reward.
reward, reward.
R.
All these R's, yo. I'm sitting like restoration, revival, recovery, recuperation.
I know you put a couple during watch night service. I'm like, okay, a new one to the list.
I just because like I remember them, and then when I start quoting them, I'm like, it's going, it's fleeting. Um, but look, all that encompasses all of it.
It all fits.
Recuperation, restitution, restoration, all fits in there. Um, so we're doing that. We are. Hey, Mary Tucker, how you doing?
Hey,
From Indiana, Memphis, Tennessee. What's up, Belinda? What's up, Kife? We're enjoying the snow. Y'all stay safe out there. It's really coming down too. I'm looking out the
it
window.
is.
Cool. Um, hello, Pastor from Pakistan. How are you?
Hey there.
So Bishop is on this series called I Am Possible. And
Hmm.
you know, on Maximize Monday, we like to give practical tips and practical tools uh, to support the message and to, just everyday life stuff.
Yeah.
Um, it's my belief that it's walking with God and, doing God's will is more than just, you know, how can I say this? Just hoping for something. There it is. It's an actual choosing to live out what you're believing for and
Hmm.
what you're saying. Um, I was thinking about this earlier. Every New Year's we always see people saying, "This year God's going to increase double your income. This year He's going to get you out of debt. This year He going to get you out of this." And like people had that thing like, yeah, and I agree with it. My
Yeah,
income's going to double. I'm going to be out of debt. And my thing is like this. That's cool. But where's your plan?
yeah. I think when we say things like that, we pass it on to God. You know, God's going to do this, God's going to do that. And I think it's great, like you said, to believe in that. But we forget that it's already done in God. And so we have to do our part of things too, and
Yes,
changing our mindset and, the actions that we do.
exactly. So if you believe that God's going to double your income, what are you going to do on your part? If you believe God's going to make you debt free, what are you going to do? Do you have a plan to get out of debt?
No impulse buying.
Right, right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What's your strategy? If God is strategic and God works in strategy, I mean, people that, if God, we say it, God does things decently and in order.
Hmm.
God has strategy, He has structures, He has methods, He has ways of doing things. Genesis 1 is one of the most strategic chapters in the
Yeah.
whole Bible. Everything is put in place exactly where it's supposed to be. So to think that God's just on a whim, just going to do all this stuff, and if you wake up one day and you got $2 million in your bank account, that's because the bank probably made a mistake, and if you go spend it, you're going to jail, or if you don't
Hmm.
pay it back. So I mean, like, come on, y'all, let's. I
That
don't.
happened to someone over the weekend.
Yeah,
FIFI. It's crazy.
I know, but again, if you go spend it, they're gonna come after you.
Repercussions for it. Yep.
Do I believe in unexpected checks in the mail? Yes. Has it happened to me right when I needed it? Absolutely. So I'm not. Um, I just noticed we got to do background. I like it. I just noticed that it looks like a football play with the X's
Yeah.
and O's. Oh,
Uh-huh.
look at you using football as an example.
I
Look at
try.
you.
I try. I try.
What's I talking about?
You believe that God will do, I guess, like the unexpected miracles, like the check
Yeah,
in the mail and
yeah.
whatnot.
He'll do all that stuff right when you need it, but that is not against us doing our part of working,
Hmm.
and that's not to compensate and say that God only does it by miracle.
Hmm.
That's not always the case, and I think if we only see it like that,
Hmm.
we can be irresponsible.
Hmm.
You know, um,
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, that removes our responsibility in things. And I
mhm,
think when we have more of an involvement, um, it can be a little bit scary to take that on.
mhm. Yeah. I mean, Israel in the wilderness. You notice the manna came every day, the water came out of the rock, but when it got to the promised land, guess what happened? The manna ceased.
Hmm.
We're not meant to live off miracles every single day,
Hmm.
like we're just in the wilderness journeying somewhere. When he got to the promised land, he had to live off the fruit of the ground. And what are we doing to live off of, the fruit of the ground, what God has given to us?
Hmm.
So if we're going to talk about I am possible and doing like we kind of talked about it yesterday in Engage Time. If you missed the Engage discussion, I can't remember all the points we went over. What possibilities do you want to experience? You know, what are you going to, what did we say yesterday? I can't remember. Um, what are we going to do? What we talking about starting. Where are you going to start?
Hmm.
Have you identified the people that can help you start?
Yeah.
What mindset or what thing in you needs to change so you actually can start? Um, Pray for God to give you a strategy. It's like when the Philistines came. David prayed and said, Lord, do you want me to go get him? God said yes. David went to go get him. He won. They came back again. He prayed again. Most of
Hmm.
us would have went out there the same way the first time, but David had to pray again because God gave him a different strategy.
Right.
So we have to be open to how God chooses to move in our lives
Hmm.
and not try to live off of miracles, but actually participate in God's will and put the work in.
Yeah. And I
I'm
think
sorry.
that what was so beautiful about Bishop's series, it was it Dream Maker? It was Dream something, and that we had to ask God not for what we just want to happen, but for the wisdom to do what we need to do on our end to make it happen.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's definitely what my goal is for this new year, to ask God for the wisdom and what I need to do and what I need to reflect on to make these things happen that I'm hoping for in the new year.
Absolutely. And I believe that God can do it
Hmm.
if we just, trust him and do our part. It's a cooperative work with God, if I could say it like that. He does his part, we do ours.
Yeah.
Um, have you ever heard the saying that if you're always looking for a miracle, you're always looking for a crisis? Well, it kind of is true. It's something that Bishop Lowell Jones said years ago. Um, I'm paraphrasing. I can't remember exactly how he said it. He said we wouldn't need as many miracles if we lived off principle.
Hmm.
We wouldn't need as many miracles if we learned to live off principle. Meaning, it's like Peter walking on the water. If he would have lived off principle of keeping focus on Jesus, he would have walked on
Yeah.
water. But because when he stopped living off principle, he started to
Hmm.
sink. Jesus picks him up and says, "Where was your faith at?"
Right.
You know, he, he wouldn't have needed to be rescued if he would have just followed the
Right.
principle. And how many of us continuously need miracles because we're just not following?
Hmm. And it's easy to get distracted. It's easy to get into these pitfalls of, life and
Mhm.
seeing, okay, all things that we're having to deal with and try to do things on our own, straying from those principles. So I mean, I don't think it's easy to hard to get off course, but like you said, Pastor Nick, we have to be able to hone it back in and remember what we need to focus on.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, Remind me to ask you something after this is over too.
Okay.
Perfect. Something trivial, but
Okay. Uh-oh.
no, it's nothing bad. I just something trivial. But anyway, so Tiff says, when you say we aren't meant to live off miracles daily, how does that compare to the supernatural? Remember, the supernatural life is supposed to be a norm for a Christian. It's supposed to be a norm. We're supposed to experience the power, the presence of God, as a norm for us. When
Hmm.
we say living off miracle, we talk about Israel in the wilderness. They weren't working the ground. They were just living every day, and God was just giving them stuff. It didn't work for her. That's how they survived.
Mm.
But when they got to the promised land, that daily provision changed from them just existing and God doing to them having to work what he gave them, work the field.
Hmm.
And through that, God began to provide for them in supernatural ways. So we're not saying that you don't experience the miraculous or the supernatural. It's just our whole entire life. Here it is. When God gave Adam and Eve the Garden of Eden, what did he tell them to do? He told them to work it.
Hmm.
He didn't say God was going to work it for them. He told them to work it.
Hmm.
But if Adam and Eve said, God, no, you take care of it, you do it all. That's living off of miracles and just us being lazy and expecting God to
Yeah.
do everything.
And I think part of it falls into that kingdom mindset of knowing what you can do as a child of God, because if you don't think that you can do it, of course you're just going to let it be given to you,
Yes.
right? So, yeah, I think, like you said, like having that mindset of, okay, I can till the earth or I can do whatever.
Yeah. And I can do those things. He empowers us to be able to do some stuff.
Hmm.
And the challenge is knowing that we're empowered to do it and actually going out and doing it. You know, somebody put in the comments, I think Mary Tucker did, and it's true. The Bible says he gives us the ability, the power to get wealth, the ability
Yeah.
to do it. He doesn't say he'll give it to us. He said he gave us the ability, the resources, the might, the strength to generate. So, the part to believe that we're possible is to believe that we can do it with God. There it
Mhm.
is. With God, all things are possible. With Him, we do it with Him. It's not all God. It's not all us. We do it
Mhm.
with Him. With God, all things are possible.
Keyword
With.
with.
That is the key word. With. You know, um, and I'm not trying to be shady here. I mean, but you can put a praise on it, do all that stuff, shout about it. Most people live in this hope of a ship coming in.
Mm.
And if I dance enough, if I shout enough, God's just going to do it. And they're always hoping and anticipating this great day when God is giving you the miracle. you know, to do what you got to do.
Hmm.
You know, the ability to do His will. It is He that gives us the power, and the will and the desire to do His good pleasure. You know, He puts it in us to do it,
Hmm.
and you got to know it's in you to do it.
Yeah. So I know laziness can definitely be a factor, right?
Hmm.
But I don't think that's the only thing in terms of what makes it so hard for us to believe that we can do things with God.
Hmm.
I guess in terms of self-esteem and whatnot.
Say it again.
So why is it so difficult for us to believe that we can do those certain things? Definitely when it comes to like our self-esteem and
Okay.
um, comparison, like things like that.
Yeah. I think when we talked about it, we've been talking about it in Bible study actually for the past month and some change. Really, the issue is not God's power. The issue is our ability to believe. Each person that we talked about, from Mephibosheth to Barzillai to the nation to Zechariah, I can't remember all the people, all the stories we
Mhm.
talked about from Israel, their story about their own inner narrative. Um, the issue is oftentimes an individual's self perception,
Mhm.
how they see themselves, their own self image gets in the way of what God's trying to do because we put more faith in our ability rather than God's.
Mm.
So we look at it like, well, I can't do it. Well, you can't do it on your own. That's why God gives you the power to get it done. Um, we have to have God esteem when we struggle with our own self esteem, our own self image.
Mm.
Look beyond your own strength and see the strength of the one that called you. Because if he called you to do it, he empowers you to get it done. You know, if he called you to do it, he's given you the ability to get it done through him. Why call you to something and not give you the ability to do it?
Yeah,
The problem is we don't know we have the ability to do it. So I finally watched all the Harry Potter movies.
you did.
Yeah,
Oh,
over
me too.
yeah, over. I was off last week, so I watched all of them all last week.
Hmm.
And you watched. You said you watched them, right?
I just watched them over the holiday.
You did. Oh, cool.
Yeah,
So I'm reading the books now. I just
I'm not
started.
going to go that far.
I just started. The book is actually
Yeah.
pretty cool. It's actually really good. Puts a lot of more context and stuff. But that one scene where the two of them in particular, they say, "How come whenever the lady says, how come we're always in these? Whenever there's a problem, the three of you guys are around,
Hmm.
right?" And then the one where Harry Potter says, uh, "Whenever we get in trouble, we always figure out what to do," kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they ask them certain times, "How did you do that?" I don't know. I was under pressure and I just did it. It's
Hmm.
funny how crisis and pressure brings out an ability you never knew you had.
Yeah.
And I'm watching the movie and I'm like, I can't remember which one it was that happened,
Hmm.
but it was two different. I'm using two lines from two different movies. No, three. And it just goes to show you, you don't know you can do it
Yeah.
until you have no other choice
But to do it.
but to do it.
Hmm. And that's
And
what
there's
I was
no way
thinking.
around it.
That's what I was thinking too. Like sometimes we have to have those experiences of going through and, going through and quote unquote failing and
Mhm.
still pushing through it to learn and gain the experience of, what to do.
Yeah. Man, my wife is in there cooking. I'm like, I'm sitting, I'm hungry. I'm here. Smell all the way upstairs.
What you cooking?
Try and be spiritual. I'm like, um, the Harry Potter movies are actually. See, I'm one of the people. Give it a chance.
Yeah.
I don't jump out of stuff quick because if you give stuff a chance, each movie to me got better and better and better and better. Um, but anyway,
No, I felt there's a lot of different things you can pick up out of those movies, which you don't necessarily expect.
mhm,
Like even just thinking like in terms of how they do what they do, a lot of it requires them speaking. And for me, it just reminded me like the power is in your tongue. So to speak into your situations and whatnot. But
and
yeah,
knowing where your words come from,
yeah,
are they coming from your own fears, your own hangups, your own,
Mhm.
that kind of thing,
Mhm.
and learning how to work on your heart. Hey,
Yeah.
I'm down, Lindsay. Every day she pops her head up. I've been wanting to do a book club but I want to do a book club for theology books, and I would
That'd
need
be cool.
some real nerdy people who need to have a certain level of not to sound uppity,
Mhm.
knowing of certain things. So we have to go over a bunch of basics. We can kind of jump
Yeah.
into the deep stuff early without having to go over the basic stuff. But anyway, that's a whole other thing. You know, the books I read are real heady and you know real yeah, they'll mess with you. But anyway, um, we have talking about Harry Potter. We always do this,
That was all you though this
but
time.
I'm gonna read chapter 2 today of the first book and keep going. But learning how to structure your life and learning how to do those things that are necessary this year. So 2022, have you prayed about a plan for this year? And have you prayed about a process to fulfill that plan?
Mhm.
So number one, have you planned? Number two, have you prayed about a process? Number three, are you willing to pay the price to fulfill that plan?
Mhm.
Mm. Number four, what type of person do you need to be to fulfill that plan? You know, so I hope somebody remembers this. So, what type of person, what changes in you do you need to make to fulfill that plan? Because in the process of fulfillment, God is working on changing us, yes, to meet that plan. Okay.
Yeah.
So, there's supposed to be a transformation in us so that we are different as our goals are being accomplished.
Mhm.
And I think sometimes God embeds it like that for a reason. So while our life is being made new, we're being made new at the same time.
Right.
I just said something. Y'all ain't hear me, but
You did.
that's the premise. While
Mhm.
while our life, I was trying to figure out how to word it. It finally clicked.
Mhm.
While our life is being made new, we're being made new. Because the problem is, if our life is being made new, and we're still the old us, guess what's going to happen?
Mhm.
We're going to change the new back into
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking too. Like I was reading my Bible, okay, and I was looking at the word redemption, and it means like to pay a price for something. And so, of course, we have that original concept of that's what Christ did for us.
Mhm.
But even in this concept, I think that can apply to this plan because there are some things that we're going to have to give up that aren't going to be conducive to that plan, right? And so, really trying to think about what that might be for
Yes,
us today.
yes. So I mean, are we willing to make those adjustments?
Our
So
question.
did we plan, process, pay the price for it? What type of person do I need to be to get there?
Mhm.
And number five, who do I need in my life? Who do I need to talk to um to help me get there? Not in a transactional way, like I'm gonna use this person, but
Right.
who have identified some sources, some classes, some books, some things I need to learn to help me get to this location. One other thing I'm going to talk about too. This is very challenging because it can put you into a tizzy if you're not careful. Challenge your own belief systems on purpose. Challenge your belief systems on purpose. Challenge your thought process. What historic beliefs you believe them because you were told them, but never actually researched it.
Mhm.
You know, when's the last time we challenged our own beliefs about life and where they came from and who taught us those things?
Yeah.
And were they accurate, or do we just believe it because somebody we trust or we love told us that? A part of being an adult is learning how to listen to instruction, learn from others, but also being able to challenge some historic stuff.
Mhm.
Maybe some of our beliefs on marriage and money and food and all those things were based off the context we were raised in. But
Yeah.
what if they were wrong though?
Mhm.
You saw your mom being extra dominant, or your dad being overly dominant, or you saw your look at this. Or you saw this individual coming on the screen when he wasn't welcome. Now I'm playing. I'm playing.
You know what?
I'm playing. I'm
Listen.
playing. I'm playing. I'm playing.
No, you were in the spirit, sir. Keep going. Keep going. You're doing great.
But but there were some things I had to examine that watch this. I learned from my family structure
Mhm.
that to me was normal, but it wasn't normal to, you know what I'm saying? And I had to change some things about what I believed based off some new exposure. Because we believe naturally what's normal to us.
Yep.
So go ahead, Kevin. How you doing, Kevin? Welcome,
I'm
Kevin
doing
Johnson.
great. You know, I am just so happy to be here on Maximize Monday. I was off from work today, so I said, you know what? Let me start this new year off with making appearance here on Maximize Monday.
Well, of course you come in super late.
Say, listen.
That was
It's
my
like
fault.
almost 12:30.
I forgot.
Yeah, blame Maya. Yeah, blame Maya.
Listen, Pastor Nick. But no, I'm excited. You guys are prepping for the recap about, you know, the whole I Am Possible. I'm loving this series so far. I can't wait to see what, you know, Bishop has in store. But you know, I'm excited.
That's good. So Kevin, we kind of Kevin always just swoops in out of nowhere and just.
Hey guys.
And matter of fact, I meant to hit you up last night, but it was late. We'll talk after because we got to have a recap of said
Absolutely,
stuff.
absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
we got to schedule a recap between the crew, and you know
Absolutely.
we'll talk about everything.
Our own recap.
Right, our own recap. So Kevin, we were talking about this year,
Mhm.
and I hope I remember all of them. A plan for the year, praying about a process
Mhm.
to get to reach that plan,
Mhm.
paying the cost to reach that. Um, what type of person do we need to become to reach those goals too?
Mhm.
Mhm.
Because a lot of people in goal making, they don't think about who do I need to become? What type of person do I need to be to do that?
Mhm.
And then number 5, challenging our historical belief systems or thought patterns,
Mm.
especially those thought patterns that will stop us from reaching that goal.
Absolutely.
So I use the example. I can talk stuff better than I can write it. So writing books for me is challenging.
Mhm.
And then most recently, I'm like, I just need to take a session on how to write, you know, and just kind of just suck it up and just do it.
Right.
I don't want to do it because I don't like writing like that, but I have to do it. And that is running against a. If you tell yourself you don't like something, you're not good at something for so long, you kind of just start believing it and don't worry about it.
Mhm.
You're like, oh, I can do other things. I don't need to do it. Well, am I
Mhm.
going to be like a full-fledged author like Stephen King or J.K. Rowling? Probably not, but I'll be able to put stuff in print that can
Never
do
say
so.
never.
So you never know.
But I'm talking about like a full-time author, like
Oh.
leaving what I do, like pastor, and to go write books and stuff. You know,
Oh no, we need you here.
right? Maybe Lord willing, when I retired, I'll be able to do that. But I'm talking about right now. But again, that small thing of challenging a belief system.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, I'm rambling. I'm gonna say this one last thing. I'm gonna shut up and let y'all talk. So, like one basic thing, people that have a hard time losing weight.
Mhm.
Something as simple as this: you were raised to always finish your food.
Mhm.
You better not get up unless you finish all your food, right?
Absolutely.
Guess what? You become an adult that does the same thing.
Mhm.
Something as simple as that, where you don't know moderation, and let me just put this away and eat it later. You know, because most of it, I don't know about y'all. We heard the starving kids in Africa. You better eat that food. You know what I'm saying?
Everyone heard that.
You better be grateful. You know,
Mhm.
and then you become an adult where you got all this food, and you're wondering, like, well, how come I can't lose weight? Because you're this historic thought process
Yeah.
dominates you in small ways that you never even consider. So I'm sorry, I'm done. Y'all talk. So
No, I was going to say, I think for me, like you said, I think step 5 was challenging your own beliefs. I think that's the hardest thing I'll say for myself, because sometimes you get stuck into knowing a thing is like, oh no, I know this, but
Yeah.
as we learned last year, just through all the series, that there's different layers of, of us, of our identities, and we're learning more about ourselves. So we can't continue to have that same belief system or have that same thought process that we had last year or 2 years ago, because we're continuing to evolve and grow. So I think that for me is the biggest thing, is taking that step and saying, okay, let me look at it in a different lens. And I've been trying to do that more lately when it comes to dealing with different friendships and stuff like that, and looking at it in a different lens. Like, all right, Kev, don't think like the old Kev. Think of the new Kev and look at the new perspective, and not that same belief system that you had before.
Yeah, yeah. And I think there's comfort in what you know, because there's nothing that's going to take you outside of that comfort zone. So you just want to keep on operating in it. But there's, like you said, there's no growth in that, right? So we find ourselves stuck in the same situations, or doing the same old things, and we're not growing. And I think eventually it gets to a point where that starts to feel uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
And that can be scary, and taking that first step of, okay, what is the new me in 2022, But I think that's where a lot of growth happens, is in that uncomfort zone.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I mean, so we all let's do some homework here. I got to run soon. Is
Homework. Oh, I didn't come to Max Monday for no homework. Just playing.
aren't you in education? You should be.
I know.
And you
Now you didn't have to
give
put
work.
me on
And
pressure,
you give
sir.
work. Yeah,
You didn't
give
have
work.
Go ahead, sir. The homework assignment. Write it down.
What areas in your life? Those look at those 5 things first that we talked about. And again, this is not. We always reduce stuff to let me pray and God is going to do it. It's going to be a miracle. It's not how God works all the time.
Mm-hmm.
The thing I really want us to think about is what areas of your life, do you need to challenge yourself in?
Mm-hmm.
And it's required. Like, I just used the writing thing. That is a real thing for me. In what, and you have to be able to deal with the emotions of that challenge too. What areas of challenge? You eat too much sugar. Now, I'm not using Maya for you. I'm just using this example. You eat too much sugar and need to stop eating as much. Hey, Shakira, what? Why
I
do
wish
we?
we had to qualify that.
No, I mean, I was just. It's the first thing popped in my head. It wasn't about you. But like, here's the thing: why do we get so emotional about challenging those things? The resistance is telling you something. The strong emotion behind it is telling you something. Because if you're that emotional about challenging that or giving that up, then something must be wrong.
Yeah.
With the thing, you don't want to challenge it for a reason, because it's going to affect you in some way, shape, or form. I'm just saying, it could it be the reason why we struggle to sacrifice and give up certain things is because of the emotion and the resistance attached to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming from somewhere.
Yeah.
It's going to be an emotional journey, y'all. It's going to be an emotional journey, but God's going to bring us through.
Wow. Yeah, I can't wait to see where we're going to be at the end of 2022.
Yeah, it's definitely about to. Someone had asked me my New Year's resolution. I don't really do New Year's resolutions. I just do new expectations. So I'm just expecting to try different things, learn more about myself, and like Pastor Nick said, challenge those areas, because those areas of comfort, they need to be challenged and able to grow. So yeah, I'm with you, Maya. This is gonna be
We got
this. Yeah, we got it. And knowing
I am
why,
possible.
right? I am possible. And knowing why it's such a challenge. Could it be rooted in something historic in us?
Mm-hmm.
Like, some people feel like I can't do it because you don't tie it to somebody told you when you were younger that you weren't good enough or made you feel like you weren't smart enough. That means you have to actually challenge the pain in your life to change. Uh-oh. That means you're not reaching your goals because pain is holding you back. I'm just saying, it's real.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing: It's not easy. You want to know why? Because it still hurts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you don't want to deal with it because it's painful to think about.
Hmm. And we talked about this before. Sometimes when you're expecting pain, you feel it when you really wouldn't, and so that keeps us from going through different things.
Mhm.
But this year, you got to, like you said, Kev, Pastor Nick, you gotta push through it
Yeah,
and get it
Yeah.
done.
yeah. We are literally we're avoiding goals because we're avoiding pain. That's
Mhm.
really what it is.
Right. That is the truth.
You know. So, all right, are we good?
Okay.
Absolutely.
All hearts and minds are clear. I feel
Absolutely.
this. I'll stop here because I feel we're about to start getting emotional, start talking about stuff. So it's gonna turn into a therapy session.
You already know how it is. It's yes.
I'm just saying it's time for us to grow maturely, y'all, and it's gonna take some work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's gonna take some work.
It's gonna take some work, and be able to deal with our mess.
Yes, Rev Tiff.
I love that.
Yeah.
Can I read that too?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
So my favorite Pastor Smith says, okay.
Your second favorite. Can you warm those neck bones up for me, please?
No.
I text her. She ain't responding back. I'm like, I'm hungry. I'm
Yes,
like,
You should be watching
knowledge.
that.
where the neck bone? Can you warm them neck bones up for me? Put them in the stove. Put them on the stove. Warm up.
Working on my expectations.
Where?
This is what happens when I work from home.
Right.
Gosh.
Working on my expectations in areas I need to challenge. This year is challenge. She's challenging herself to appreciate the process. You
Yes.
gotta appreciate the process, the good and the bad, and look at all the moments as opportunities. Yep.
Yeah.
And changing our perspective on things.
Yeah, because next week, if you're open, Kevin, are you off? Or if you're off next week, if you are,
The next Monday that I'm off is not next Monday, but the one Monday after that.
okay. Because next week, I'm thinking we can talk about if we're in the I am possible, we can talk about why we think we're not possible. Now
Mhm.
that's going to be something.
Oh, maybe I should use that for recap. No, I'm not going to.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead. No, go ahead. We're all supporting each other. So go ahead. We all can have different perspectives.
All one flow.
We're all one flow. Can all be. You guys can have a perspective. We'll have a perspective, and somebody will get help. But why don't we believe things are possible? It's rooted in something.
Mm.
And maybe this year could be a year for us to finally dig into those things that are holding us back, those childhood traumas, those childhood and teenage pains.
Absolutely.
Because when I usually ask them, when they used to say, "Well, I can't do that. Why? I don't know." Well, let's
Mhm.
explore why you don't know. I don't think I'm good at that. Well, let's talk about why. And it usually, or I'm a good starter, but I'm a bad finisher,
Mm-hmm.
or I'm a bad starter, but I can finish well. Something's causing you not to do that. Have you thought about why?
So
Have
it
you
sounds
dug
like we
into
need to bring our tissues with us for that next conversation.
for the next few
I don't have time. Listen, Bishop is already in my business on Sundays for sermon, and then you come on Monday and maximize Monday, and then you have him to be deeper into. I'm telling you.
I'm just saying, like, there and maybe we can bring it. Maybe the mental health panel, the whatever sound mind panel, we can talk about it some more too.
Yes,
Mhm.
right.
That you know, I'm trying to get us trying to get everybody to see. We reduce everything down to a miracle, a Holy Ghost, a hallelujah, and I'm running for my life, and God's going to do it. And we wonder why we keep doing that stuff. We're living in hope with no real manifestation,
Right.
because we're expecting God just to do everything, and we don't want to deal with our stuff.
Yeah.
It's just but all through Scripture, you see God dealing with people's internal stuff to make them who He desires them to be, so they can fulfill this thing. Because if not, watch this, it's going to be those things that are going to mess us up.
Yeah.
God gave Moses plenty of time to fix his anger issues, but one day, boom, it got him, and it stopped him from getting to the promised land. I mean, Elijah just could not get his emotions under control, and All of a sudden, he said, God, go find somebody else because I'm not doing this no more. And God said, okay, here's Elisha. And how much more could have Elijah have done?
Yeah.
You know, how much are we leaving on the table? And we go to heaven and God said, I had so much more for you, but you were just too scared to do it. You were
Shoot.
just too, you know, whatever to get it done. You were just, you know, I'm just saying, it's just something to think about.
Listen, now I see what you go through on Maximize Monday.
Told you.
I see. I've seen it. I've seen it.
What does she go through?
It's just, you know, you spit fire, and it's just you got to sit back and meditate on it, and it's like
I'm learning just like everybody else.
it's like we're learning, you know.
I know. But we appreciate y'all for coming on. I'm hungry. I need to go downstairs and eat. So
They're still cooking.
I know. Yo, but Kevin, your face behind the scene yesterday when we were trying to show Bishop how to do the thing, you were like, it was his first time having him. He was trying to show him how to do it. That's all. He never had these kind before. No, it was both of y'all. It was y'all look at both of us like, why are y'all doing this? No, Maya was looking at both of us like, why are y'all doing this live on air? Couldn't you have done this behind?
I love moments like
that.
Right, and both of us sitting there like, oh well, y'all watching this all, but here, I ain't care. He ain't care. We was having fun with it. Just
no, it was funny.
they call us ghetto for a reason because we
see you hear this man. Oh gosh,
they call us ghetto for a reason. Y'all are like, can y'all please not do this? Y'all like we are embarrassing y'all. That's the look y'all are getting, like you are embarrassing us. I thought it was hilarious. All right, y'all.
Can I say something before we leave?
Sure, no, go ahead.
So we are in Transforming Lives Month. So where we give extra emphasis on making sure that we do what we can to let people know about Jesus, right? And about Bethany and how their life can be impacted by, just being part of this ministry and whatnot. So I just want to encourage everyone to click your share buttons. It can be as easy as clicking your share buttons to let someone know about Christ, and just be a part of everything that we're doing, not only this week, but for the entire month. So yeah, that's all I had to say.
Okay, cool beans. All right, y'all. The Lord bless you. Lord keep you. Heaven smile upon you. In Jesus' name. In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. I love that. Amen. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Wow.